Good morning. Today we're going to look at how to do ground plans and sections on sheet layers in Vectorworks 2012. Okay, so the first thing you want to make sure you have done, obviously, is have your ground plan done. This is a ground plan from Avenue Q at Fresno City College. This is not the final ground plan, but it's pretty close. Okay. So we see our ground plan. You want to make sure that you have all the layers and classes on that you want on and off that you want off and grade that you want grade. Okay. Take a look, and I'm going to look at this and say, you know what, Princeton's apartment probably should be gray. Oh, the pit should be full colored. We're going to gray out Princeton's apartment. We're going to gray out the sliding unit. Okay, so those items are grayed out. This is exactly the way I want it to look on my ground plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go View, Create Viewport. Once I've created the viewport, I need to name it. I'm going to go ahead and name this New Ground Plan. And we want to create on its own layer. Now there are lots of layers in this file already. Your file should probably be empty. I'll show you how to get rid of extra layers if you don't want them. But make sure you name your sheet layer something that will be very obvious to me so that I can grade it. So, Chris, grade this ground plan. Seems like a great name. So I'm going to click OK on that. We're going to check here. We need to be in quarter and scale. We're doing ground plan, so top plan view is exactly what we need to be in, and wireframe rendering is just fine for this. Okay. Click OK. And now we are into the world of our paper space. So this down here is our piece of paper. Okay, and this is not our ground plan anymore. This is a picture of our ground plan. Okay, this moves around. It is just a picture. One of the cool things about this picture is if I make a change, if I redraw this staircase or move these boxes, they will move here as well. What will not change is the boxes will be gray because that's how I've set them up. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, let's go ahead and show you how to change the paper style. You're going to go to Page Setup. You're going to need to select a paper size that is not available in the printer unless you happen to have a large format printer connected to your computer. You're probably going to need a fairly large size. Either US Architecture size C or D is what you're going to need to use for this project. As long as your drawing fits and looks good, it doesn't matter which one you choose. I'm going to go ahead and select C and say OK. Okay, now I have my piece of paper, I have my ground plan. I need to put my ground plan on my piece of paper. Very important. I'm just kind of zoom here. Okay, couple of things I want to show you how to do. Okay, we can set up crops. So I'm going to show you, in case you have extra stuff that you don't want to see, I'm going to click here, Edit Crop. And I did that by right-clicking on my viewport, Edit Crop. And now if I draw a box around or a polygon, and I can do any shape I want. For example, let's say, and this is not what I'm going to want to do, but let's say I just want to show this portion of the set. So I'm drawing a circle around that portion of the set. I don't want to show anything else. When I exit my viewport crop in my upper right-hand corner here, you will see that my viewport is now just this circle. Just that, nothing else. This gives you a huge advantage if you're trying to do multi-view drawings, if you're trying to just show one specific thing, you don't have to show the whole thing. However, for this bit, what I actually do is I want to show the whole thing. So I'm going to edit viewport crop, and I actually don't need a crop on this. My drawing is set up just fine. If there's extra stuff that's showing up that you don't want to see, go ahead and draw a box or a polygon around what you want to see. Make sure it's a closed polygon. And it'll be just what you want. Okay, so I can exit this. That's just what I want. A couple of other things we're required to have on our drawings. We need to have a border. Okay, so let's get a border. We're going to do that by going to our basic, our tool sets, which are here. If you don't have them open, it's Window, Palettes, Tool Sets. And now we're going to go to the Dims and Notes section, and we're going to scroll down until we get to Sheet Border. Okay, sheet border, symbol looks like this. It says sheet border. We're going to click that. We're going to come over here. It doesn't actually matter where you click. Click twice, and the sheet border is going to show up. It will show up automatically centered on your page. Now, why is mine green? I gotta go check that. Okay. I'm going to double click on our classes. We're going to see which class is turned on. None. Oh, that should be black. Okay, why is it showing up green? Well, we'll check one other place. Window palettes, attributes. It's showing up green because it's supposed to. Change that to black, and there we go. We have our border in black. The other thing you're required to have, if you remember from class, is a title block. Title blocks go in the lower right-hand corner. Now, we could build our own title block, but actually Vectorworks has some really great stuff built in for us. So I'm going to say title block. So in object info, I click on my border. Title block is part of the border. Click on title block, and we have a drop-down menu here. We need to select a title block. Spotlight is the Vectorworks name for theater, or its theater package. So we're going to go for the Spotlight title block. Okay, and I'm going to click OK. And oh my gosh, look, there's a title block. Okay, we're going to go in and check the title block. So we're going to go edit title block. That's going to allow us to edit the information inside of it. There will be either 1 or 2 tabs under this, depending on which title block you select. If there are 2 tabs, the first one will say project. Project is global information. This will appear on every single title block you put in. You only have to update it once, which is really convenient. So you can put in the director's name, the show name, production title, 1, 2, 3, the venue name, director's name. I don't know why it appears twice, but it does. Designed by, number of sheets. Okay, in this case, we're going to actually have 2 sheets. File. Okay, and then the other one, the sheet tab, that's only going to appear on this page. So this is where we put in information that this is sheet number 1, that it is the ground plan. And I don't feel like I need to put anything else in there, but I can. Sheet scale, well, in this case it's 1/4 inch equals 1 foot dash 0 inches, which is the proper way to write scale. Drawn by me. And the date. Okay, and you can put the date in whatever format you want. I tend to put mine in year, month, day, because then it's biggest to smallest and everything organizes properly that way. Okay. And we click OK. Okay, and we zoom in on our title block, and all that information was just put in, and that looks fabulous. Okay, so that's our title block. Really simple. Okay, we also needed to do a ground plan with a section drawing with a title block and a border. So let's go back and do a section drawing. To do that, we're going to come up here to this section, and we're going to say, let's go back to scenery. Okay, now we're back on the scenery level. We're right where we were before. Okay. And we're going to come in here, and along the center line, unless there's some really good reason on your set why you don't want to do it on your center line, you should be doing it on your center line. If you don't have a center line on your drawing, go ahead and draw one in. Okay, that's easy. I have one in here, so I can just trace it. But get your pointer lined up with the 0 along the top, and draw a line, and woohoo, you have a center line. And that's all you need to do, and it's green again. I need to get this set so it's not drawing everything in green. Black. There we go. Okay, now to do a center line section. This is so ridiculously easy, it's amazing. So you're going to go to View. You're going to, instead of going to Create Viewport, we're going to say Create Section Viewport. A section viewport is going to automatically cut through the center of our drawing just the way we want. Okay, so you're just going to trace your center line. If you've got your snaps on, this is really, really simple. Okay, draw that. Now you see you've got a big arrow on the screen right down here. If it's pointing to the left, it means your section viewport is going to look to your left. If it's pointing to the right, it's going to look right, which is actually stage left, and left is stage right. And the rule of this is you always want to point to the more interesting side. Well, this side has all this wacky platforming on it, so this is the side we want to look to. So we're just going to click to the right so that our big arrow is pointing to the right, and click again, and it's all set up. Now we've got to come in here, and we're going to create a viewport name. We're going to call this Chris's section. We're going to create on a new sheet layer. And again, I have to grade this, so if there's lots of sheet layers, make sure I know which one to grade. So we're going to call this Chris grade this section, and I'll know to grade it. Okay. Hey, come down here. Layers and classes. Do you have everything on that you want on? Everything solid that you want solid? If so, you're great. If not, you can click on this and you can edit your layer setup or your class setup. What's on, off. You know, I'm going to go ahead and make my apartment solid on this. And I'm going to just turn off the boxes for Princeton's apartment. Okay, quarter inch scale, yes. We're doing a section drawing, so obviously hidden line is the view we want. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. And it's going to work for a moment. It has a lot to draw depending on how complicated your set is. Okay. And we're going to come down here. And we're going to take a look at what our set looks like in section view. Again, you can change your paper size if your paper size isn't what you want to do. Again, US Architecture C works for me in this, so we're going to go ahead and go with that. Click OK. We're going to look and say, yes, that looks great on the page. We need to put a border on it, so we put a sheet border on it. Click, click. There's our sheet border. Okay. And we need to put a title block on it. Title block, if I select the same title block as before, click OK. When I zoom in on this, it already says Avenue Q, the musical, Fresno State College, director's name. I just have to edit the information that's for this page for this sheet. And again, so this is going to be sheet 2. Drawing is section. Looking stage left, because that's where the interesting stuff is. Sheet scale is 1/4 inch equals, whoops, 1/4 inch equals 1 foot dash 0 inches. Drawn by CRB. And 2015-May-8th. Okay, and we see that that all updated and it's fabulous. Okay, and this is our section drawing. Now, we may need to put some information on here for some people. So let's say, remember you were required to do some dimensions. So let's do some dimensions on this. If I just use my dimension tool in here, okay, constrained dimension means it's going to go straight left, right, up, or down, and unconstrained means it'll go at an angle. Let's say I want to just do a constrained dimension, and I measure this tall building on Avenue Q. Okay. And I bring it out here, and we look at this, and we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it because our dimension layer is turned off. Go ahead and turn our dimension layer on. And we look at this, we zoom in, and it says that is 4 inches tall. Now wait a second, that's a huge building. That's like huge. Why is it only 4 inches? Because I drew this on the piece of paper, and it's only going to print out at 4 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. What I need to do is I need to actually tell it I'm drawing a dimension on my piece of paper, but I need the dimensions in scale. So to do that, we're going to right-click on our viewport, and we're going to say Edit Annotation. So last time we edited crop, this time we're going to edit annotations. Okay, I'm going to edit the annotations, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to draw my building. And I'm going to come out here and click and change visibility to create objects. Yes, okay. This says it is 15 feet, 11 3/4 inches. Oh my gosh. Somewhere along the way I messed up. I either clicked on the wrong point because this is supposed to be a 16-foot tall wall. Oh my gosh. So I can come in here and play with it till I get to 16 feet, or I can show you a wonderful little trick. Go over to Object Info if you don't have Object Info available. Window, Palette, Object Info, there it is. Come down to Length. And there are a couple things. You can change its precision. Say, well, you know what, just go ahead and round to the nearest no fractions, and that's going to change it. Or, let's say for whatever reason you're really off, you can actually come into your length and type 16 feet. Okay? And you have just edited this size, and no one's going to know, and really you wanted it at 16 feet, and 3/4 inch, no one's going to know, and even someone with a scale rule is not going to be able to figure that out once this is printed out. So go ahead and you can say that's at 16 feet. Okay. We need to put some other dimensions in here for whatever reason. You know, how far from the building to the downstage edge. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. Building to the downstage edge. Okay. And 9 foot 4 5/8 is probably what it actually was. So that's great. Okay. And the height of this platform. And the height of this platform. Okay, and there they are, and those dimensions are probably correct. I'm not going to go ahead and edit them. And now I've done this. The other thing, we can put things on here. You can put other notes on here besides dimensions. We can put Oh, what up here? Trekkie platform. Trekkie platform. Okay. I go ahead and put that on. And one of the cool things is, so I'm going to now exit this. I just want to show you what's great about the annotations. Aside from that being correct, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I put Trekkie platform there because it is, but this is the Brian platform. Okay. And I just typed that on my paper. I did not go into my edit annotations with that. Now I want you to watch something. You know what? I'm laying all this out, and I think it would actually look a little bit better if my viewport was over here. Okay, so I'm going to slide my viewport over. What I want you to notice is Trekkie's platform went along for the ride because it's attached, because we edited the annotations, it's attached to the viewport. Brian's platform, note, because it was not attached, I have to now drag it along separately. So the other great thing is if you're putting notes on here, everything travels along with it if you edit the annotation. That's like drawing on top of the picture. Okay. Okay, so we have our viewports, we have our drawings. I did want to show you how to get rid of extra things. So if you want to see all the sheet layers that have been created, the third tab under navigation is all your sheet layers. And we're going to look at this and we're going to say, okay, there are all these extra ones in here. I don't know what they're doing here. I want to delete them. Well, I know what they're doing here because they're for my design. But we don't need them, so we can just go in here and delete them. And I want to make sure I leave the Chris grade this ground plan, Chris grade this section, because those are the ones I want graded. And that will clean up your drawing, get rid of any extra stuff you don't want. Just take it and go delete. I do want to warn you, deleting is not undoable. So once you do this, you're done. So make sure that you don't delete something you don't mean to delete. Okay? And that's all you need to know to do sections and viewports. And to do your ground plans and your title blocks and your borders. Great. Have a great day.